Hello everyone, my name is Deepika Verma, Senior Research Fellow, Batch 2019, under supervision of Professor Rajiv Kumar Sir, Sociology Department. This lecture is the continuation of the previous lecture about the theories of culture. Now let's see the theories in detail. The first concept in this theory is evolutionism. In order to understand this, first of all, we have to know about the meaning of evolution. So let's see it. Evolutionism is a set of ideas or doctrine concept of evolution. It is a sequential, directional and gradual occurring process. It is a process of systematic change. In culture and social anthropology, the gradual structural change of human culture is subject of the study by evolutionists. So, uh, evolution is a gradual occurring slow process and imperceptible, that is too small to see. Evolution is an idea of time. It is vertical in approach. The theory of evolution is first discovered by Charles Darwin in his book Origin of Species. This theory was further included in the sociology by Herbert Spencer in his book Principle of Sociology. He defines evolution as a change from indefinite incoherent homogeneity to a definite coherent homogeneity through continuous differentiation and integration, and he gave the concept of evolution in terms that the process of change where all things change from the simplest of the form to the forms to the most complex. Things which are relatively undifferentiated to the things which are differentiated, which means that one part is different from another. Uh, the change from homogeneous, that is part lookalike, to heterogeneous. So the idea of evolution basically includes the concept of simple to complex, homogeneous to heterogeneous, undifferentiated to differentiated. Uh, he has said that evolution is the process within there are two processes, that is process of differentiation. Things become different on time or dissimilar on time, and it make one part different from another. Always have probability that this part will fall apart. Attempt to link one part to another. The process of integration, they all are being connected. Integration goes side by side with differentiation. It compensates from differentiation. Spencer said that both the process is required side by side. Higher the this system, more evolved, better the integration. Spencer says that some society are perpetually in motion, that is unstable, and unstable dissipation of motion. As a society evolves, they are more integrations of matter because of instability. Motion have been taken away. Uh, Many sociologists or scholars talk about evolution of human society or culture, and in this attempt there are two prominent works of two thinkers which can be seen. First is Edward B. Tyler and second is L.H. Morgan. Edward B. Tyler talked about primitive culture. He mainly concerned with the origin of religion. Tyler looked like missionary accounts, explorer journals, ancient texts, ethnological reports to search for similarities in human culture. Then he looked at how these similarities arrived. Two possible explanations arrived. One is that similarities due to parallel invention or the evidence of contact, direct or indirect, contemporary or historical. L.H. Morgan, he talked about ancient society. He concerns with origin of the entire society and the study the evolution of human society and culture. He was a pioneering American anthropologist and social theorist, and his best work is known for his work on kinship and social structure and his theory of evolution. Now, evolution can be of two types, that is unilinear evolution and multilinear evolution. Unilinear evolution occurs in a straight line, uh, that is from simple to complex, and multilinear evolution occurs in different directions. That is here you can see in the diagram that culture A, culture B, culture C, D, there are many cultures and they are evolving in different directions. So the concept of unilinear evolution is regarded as a progressive change or development, and the change in one direction, it's a gradual change and progress, and in the concept of development of savagery, barbarian civilization was given by Morgan, that is also a example of unilinear uh, evolution. In this the savagery is the lower stage when humans largely depend on nature for survival. They are hunter and food gatherers, they use fire, etc. And next comes the barbarianism. It is the middle stage. They are perceived to be uncivilized. Discovery of pottery and for food storage happened in this stage, and the next and the final stages of civilization, in which human beings start using machines for food production. Technology arrives which makes things better and easier. The other concept, that is multilinear evolution, is essentially a methodology based on the assumption that significant regularities in cultural change occurs. Multilinear evolution dealt with the limited pillars of forms, function, and sequence, which has empirical validity. This type of evolution shows that social institution does not develop in an upward straight line, but along with a parabolic curve. In this, it starts with a particular form of development into its opposite form, then return back to its original form, but at a different higher level. Uh, this concept was put forward Leslie White, which in this way these are two different forms of evolution through which the culture has evolved. So, cultural evolution is an evolutionary theory of social change. It follows from the definition of culture as information capable of affecting individuals' behavior that they acquire from other members of their species through teaching, imitation, and other forms of social transmission. And cultural evolution is the change of this information over time. So, it refers to a change or development of in culture from a simple form to more complex form of human culture. And scientists study the human cultural evolution of humans by analyzing the changes uh, in their way of life. So I hope the concept of cultural evolution is somehow about clear to all of you. Now let's move further. Now let's see another concept of cultural change, that is diffusionism. So diffusionism refers to the diffusion or transmission of cultural characteristics or trends from the common society to other societies. Uh, the sociologists or the scholars believe that most invention happened just once, and man being capable of imitation sorry, these inventions were then diffused to other places. According to them, all cultures originated at one point and then spread throughout the world. They opposed the notion of progress from simple to complex forms held by evolutionists. They also held that primitive or modern is also a relative matter, hence comparative method is not applicable. So diffusionism approach was popular in late 19th and 20th centuries, and in more holistic approach, the diffusionism against evolutionism provided a more adequate understanding of overall picture. So in this way, it is very clear that the spreading of a cultural trend, material, object, idea or behavior pattern from one society to another. Diffusion can also be viewed as a cultural exchange. So the cultural diffusion is the spread of cultural trend across locations, beliefs, practices, and ideas get shared from person to person and sometimes even around the world. Many cultural practices are spread by a type of cultural diffusion called expansion diffusion, and there are different types of diffusion like this. Let's understand them one by one. Uh, First is relocation diffusion. In this, expansion diffusion and its various forms are not the only way, uh, uh, and the other practices are passed along with another way that culture spread is by the relocation diffusion. And when a person migrates from their home and share their culture with a new location, relocation diffusion accounts for much of the folk culture that can be seen in different regions based on migration patterns. Next is expansion diffusion, uh, in which the cultural ideas are expanded. Next is contagious diffusion, when a cultural trend is transmitted from person to person, from an original source to numerous other sources, or similar to a virus. Even the name viral videos speaks to the idea of the contagion, spreading an idea along almost like an illness would spread through contact and interaction. As cultural trends gain in popularity and draw our attention, profit may become a motive in perpetuating the trend. So in this way, contagious contagious disease, this diffusion happens. Next is hierarchical diffusion. Another form of expansion diffusion is hierarchical diffusion, or when a cultural trend is spread from one segment of society to another in a pattern, like in a hierarchy, from one step to another. Let's consider how hip-hop culture emerged from within urban areas but is now in all regions of society, including suburban and rural areas as well. Next is stimulus diffusion. Finally, stimulus diffusion is when a cultural trend is spread but is changed by those adopting the ideas. In this way, cultural diffusion occurs in different forms. Various mechanisms such as migration, trade, conflict and communication. This exchange of cultural elements can lead to the assimilation, adaptation or transformation of culture involved, shaping the diversity and interconnectedness of the human societies. Now let's see what are different schools of diffusion. In late 19th and earlier 20th centuries, uh, the different schools of diffusion developed, in which there were two main schools. One were British School of Diffusion and second is German School of Diffusion. This British School of Diffusion was also known as Egyptologist, and the thinkers which are included are G. E. Smith, W. J. Perry and W. H. R. Rivers. The main concept, the main focus of these diffusionists were that Egypt was the center of development of a culture, and from there the culture is got diffused in different parts of the society. uh, Now let's see what these thinkers have said. These thinkers, G.W. Smith and W.J. Perry, were considered extreme diffusionists, and Smith visited Egypt to understand the anatomy of mummies. He found the complexity of procedures in mummification. Hence, it made him think it was their own invention, unique, and it was their own. He linked mummification to other cultural trends, construction of pyramids, stone monuments. Back to England, he saw stone monuments, hence he assumed it as a prototype of Egypt. Hence, Egyptian were centered around the sun worship beliefs system complex. Hence, his aim became support his hypothesis of sun worship belief culture complex. Hence, they are considered a heliocentric school of thought or pan-Egyptian. These trends can be seen in different parts of the world. He found evidence similar to Egyptians around the world, like Maya pyramids. Smith and Perry studies the diffusion of culture in his book Origin of Cultures, and a more moderate form of diffusionist thought was put forward by W.H. Rivers. He used genealogical method working among the Toda of Nilgiri Hills in 1906, especially among mortuary ritual among the same society of Australian Aboriginal burials, cremation, placement of corpse on platform, etc. These things were studied by W.H. Rivers. In this way, the British School of Diffusion mainly focused on the culture of Egypt as the center of diffusion for and spreading the culture all over the world. Next is German School of Diffusion. German School of Diffusion is also called Kulturkreis School, and which means that cultural historical school or cultural circle. Methodology of cultural historical school to distinguish based on functional reason and similarities due to historical contact. The main thinkers that are in this German School of Diffusion are F. Retzel, F. Grabner, F. W. Smith, and L. Frobenius. They say that let's take understand the concept by an example, that all arrows must have a sharp point and all bows must have a string. Functional similarities based on function or form. Retzel noted that use of bows and arrows in other places existed, but in Africa and Australia exhibit similarities in terms of material used, feathers of a particular bird, arrangement, etc. These are not explained based on functional reason, but based on historical context due to migration. This viewpoint was never widely accepted, and it is now been abandoned completely. Inspired by Retzel, Grabner, and Smith led to the earlier 20th century German-Austrian diffusionist school. This school also held that people borrow from others because they are basically uni-inventive. In contrast, Smith and Perry of the British school, who assumed that culture trend originated in one place, that is Egypt, and filtered out to culture throughout the world. The German-Australian school suggests that existence and diffusion of several different culture complexes, that is Kulturkreis in German. Like the British diffusionists, however, the Kulturkreis school provided little documentation for the historic relationship that is assumed. Now, next are the American School of Diffusion. The American this approach is also known as culture area approach, and the separate American school of thought was led by Clark Wiesler, Alfred Krobel, and Franz Boas. They attributed the characteristic feature of a culture area to a geographical culture center, which traits were where the traits were first developed and from which they were diffused outward. In simple language, you can say that according to American School of Diffusion, there was a certain area of culture where the culture got developed first, and then it spread in different parts or diffused outward. This theory led Whistler to formulate his age area principle. If a given trait diffuses outward from a single culture center, it follows the most widely distributed trend found to exist around such a center must be the oldest trend. Almost more anthropologists today acknowledge the spread of trend by diffusion. Uh, in this way, this concept of culture area uh, says that a culture diffuses after developing to a certain geographical area or physical environment. That is the core for the development of culture, and then diffusion occurs. I hope the concept that I have explained in this presentation are clear to all of you. The other theories about culture integration will be explained in different lecture. With all this, I am ending this lecture. Thank you so much.